Hey there, it's Brendan Stoneman with Remax Kelowna. Hope you're doing well. I just wanted to put together a video to talk about something that has been all over the news lately, and a lot of people are, wanting some more information about it. So, in this video, we're going to talk about the Strata insurance situation. The premiums are going up significantly all around our city, all around the province. We're going to talk about what's happening, why it's happening, and how it may impact those that already own a strata property. If you're thinking of buying a strata property, kind of what you need to know, and even those people that are contemplating selling a property because of the uncertainty with what's going on with regards to insurance. We're going to talk about all of that in this video. So it's been in the news over the last few weeks, specifically where strata insurance premiums have been going up substantially. And to give you a couple examples of what's going on in our city, we've got there's a building downtown, or a complex downtown. It consists of multiple buildings, amenities, pools. There's about 500 units in the complex, and their strata insurance premiums last year were $160,000. And this year, they are $490,000. So that is an increase of over 200%. So big change in what their insurance premiums look like. Another example, in West Kelowna, there was a building, consists of 4 buildings. They've got amenities as well. The previous example, that's about a 12-year-old complex, and so is this one here. So they're both kind of newer. Last year they were $75,000 for their premiums. This year they are renewing at $307,000. So that is a 300% increase. And another example in the Lower Mission, it's a complex that consists of 3 buildings with, again, amenities, and it's a 90s complex, so it's getting to be nearly 30 years old. Their premiums last year was $70,000. This year, $317,000. So it's about a 350% increase in their insurance premiums year over year, and that's just in 1 year. So why is this happening, and why is it all coming out now? So my understanding is, up until fairly recently, there were about a dozen big insurance companies that contributed into basically underwriting all of these strata insurance policies. So they would contribute to basically throw money into a pot, and that's what the insurance claims were paid out of when an issue happened. And most of what we're talking about here is related to water claims. Up until fairly recently, an apartment building, it was common for their water deductible on an insurance claim to be, $10,000 or maybe $25,000 on a bigger community. And if you can imagine somebody on the top floor of an apartment building, their washing machine blows up in the middle of the night or something happens like that, it can do substantial damage in multiple units, both the unit that caused the problem and units beside it and below it as well. So these insurance payouts were massive. And it was just getting to the point, these are all private companies, they've all got shareholders, and they're all looking at the bottom line. And it was just, they were losing too much money paying out these big insurance claims relative to the size of the premiums and deductibles they were collecting. So a bunch of them decided, we're not interested in playing anymore, and they've gotten out of the strata insurance game. So that leaves about 2 remaining companies to shoulder the responsibility for insuring all of these buildings across the city and province and even the country. And then they're the ones financially responsible for paying out the claims. So if they said, well, hey, if we're going to be the only ones at the table here, the premiums need to be adjusted significantly to make this worth our while, and the deductible levels are going to go up substantially as well. And so that is what's happening. So now we know what's going on. Now we know why it's happening. Now, just to give you a couple scenarios. So in addition to the fact that the premiums are going to go up and that cost is going to be passed on to all of the owners, and you're going to see that reflected in your strata fees, there's also an added kind of layer to this. The deductible levels are going up as well. And to use an example, let's say I own a unit on the top floor of an apartment, and one day I go to work, I turn on the dishwasher, and for whatever reason, a plumbing fitting blows up and water starts leaking everywhere, and I'm not in the house to even catch it. So it runs for hours, wrecks my unit, wrecks the neighbors beside me and some people below me. So for illustration purposes, let's say it does $20,000 damage to my property and $10,000 damage to the 3 people below me. So there's $50,000 in damage that I caused accidentally, of course, but that doesn't really matter. $50,000 worth of damage. So now in a situation where the strata has an insurance deductible of $10,000, automatic insurance claim, and the insurance company gets involved and cleans up everyone's unit, and then the strata would come after me for the $10,000 because I caused the problem. If I have my own personal insurance, which is not mandatory yet, but obviously a smart idea, I make a claim under my personal insurance. My personal insurance company pays the strata's deductible. I pay my deductible to my insurance company, which is probably $500 or maybe $1,000, and everybody goes on their way. So now with these strata deductibles being increased to $100,000, which is where a lot of them are going, and some, larger, older complexes, we're probably going to see them even get into the 200s and beyond. It kind of changes the picture because, in the same example, if there's $50,000 worth of damage done and $100,000 strata insurance deductible, there's no insurance claim under the strata's policy. And a lot of people don't understand this. The strata has no responsibility for what goes on inside your unit as far as damages go. Their responsibility is to maintain the insurance on the building. So now if insurance is not involved, the strata is not involved either because it's not their responsibility. So now it's up to either the individual owners' insurance companies to fight it out, or if nobody has insurance, it's up to the individual owners to fight it out. And there'll probably be small claims court lawsuits, and it would get kind of ugly because there's no strata insurance company involved. So again, in the same example, now we're not dealing with strata's insurance. So if I have my own insurance, that's who would likely pay out the claim because I caused the problem. I pay my deductible, they would take care of it. But in a situation where I didn't have insurance and I caused $50,000 worth of damages, I'm getting sued. And so that would be obviously a big problem. Again, another scenario is a lot of the personal insurance companies or policies have limits on their deductible levels. So most will insure up to $20 or $30 or even maybe $40,000. But as these deductible levels hit 100 or 200 grand, a lot of the personal insurance policies don't go up that high. They may need to be adjusted, and if that happens, guess what's going to happen to those premiums as well, because the risk is going to increase as well. So it's a bit of a mess. It's a bit of an evolving story. The government is getting involved. There's been a lot of people obviously making noise about it, trying to create some policy changes around here just to help people out, because keep in mind the condo properties, for a lot of people, that's the entry point to the real estate market. People buy condos because they're typically a little more affordable than buying a townhome or a house, and this is going to obviously change the affordability factor fairly significantly. So there's been some pressure on the government to try to step in and do something. There's been a bill put forward. We'll see where it goes. It's not going to really change the situation. What they're talking about in here is making it mandatory that every condo owner has their own personal insurance. So that'll hopefully minimize some of the fallout if there was a big problem and the strata's insurance wasn't involved, or there was a big deductible to pay out. And they're also going to make it mandatory that the strata corporation is given notice at least 30 days in advance of when their policy renews, so they can plan for how they're going to deal with these increases. It's not going to change how much their insurance is going to go up, but at least they've got a little more time to plan and prepare. So we're going to have to see where it goes. In the meantime, there's a lot of chatter about it. A lot of people are concerned. A lot of people I've talked to, they're thinking, well, maybe we don't want to buy a condo. We'll look at a half duplex instead. So it could change the landscape a little bit in the real estate market. The other thing I think we're probably going to see is a bunch of strata corporations putting in new bylaws to help mitigate their risk and minimize the water issues. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing most strata corporations or strata councils passing bylaws that say you're not allowed to run your dishwasher or your washing machine if you're not home. There'll probably be some plumbing upgrades. Some units, they have their own separate hot water tanks. I've heard of some stratas saying that at year 8 your water tank gets changed automatically because they have a higher failure rate as they get into 10, 12, 15 years old. So there'll be some things that they're trying to do to just minimize the chances of an insurance claim happening. But it's a changing situation. We're getting more information every day. I'll keep you up to date, of course. If you have any questions about this, you want to know how it might impact you want to just kind of chat about it in general, I'll do my best to keep in touch. Feel free to reach out, and we will talk to you again soon. Bye for now.